Welcome to the sixth episode of the Screwup Exchange, where we're going to talk about how challenges, Excel, and steak taught me how taking feedback is critical to the success of any project. Hey, my name is Patrick.
Hey, my name is Drasko.
Hey, Drasko. What do you miss most about traveling?
I would say I miss, let me think for a second. I don't miss the airport, but honestly, I think I miss a really good steak.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Where was the best one you had?
I mean, in Germany, you don't get a really good steak.
Yeah, that's
get,
true.
You get steaks, but
they don't do
overpriced.
Yeah, they don't do the dry rub or anything like that.
No,
so
they don't. But I'm sorry to say, but the best one was in Brazil.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the beef there, it's first class, I would say.
Oh, I love me a good churrasco steak.
Right. And you have been in Sao Paulo, so you know how it works.
Oh,
right?
yeah. But actually, I think the best steak was in Curitiba. They have a lot of good farms, and that was my favorite steak.
Okay, I never made it to this point.
You should definitely go.
I just went to Sao Paulo and Rio, so back and forth. Yeah, but I think that's a really, really good way to eat meat. There is churrascaria and this thing. I love it, and I miss it. Yeah.
Speaking of steak, though, that reminds me about a bet I lost. So I was working on a project.
Okay.
And what we had to do was I had to go set up a way for the people to randomly audit different areas in a factory.
What do you mean with audit? Maybe you can explain this.
Yeah. So the auditing is basically I wanted to completely map out the factory. So I broke it up into different sections.
It's like, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I made an Excel sheet that broke up the factory into different sections. I labeled it out, and I made this really, really nice Excel worksheet.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was perfect.
For sure it was. I know your Excel skills, so he's really good. If you need something on Excel, he's the guy.
Thank you. But I made this sheet, and I thought it was perfect. And then I was reviewing it with my good friend at the plant, and he basically said to me, Patrick, this will not work.
Okay. And you trusted him?
And of course I trust him and didn't just completely go forward without taking it into consideration.
Okay.
So he said to me, it would not work. It's
Okay.
too complicated. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what do you mean it's too complicated? And I was like, what I did was I had an empty cell and you put your clicker there and you just press enter. And that's it. And it randomly generates a...
So it's not complicated at all, right?
It's not complicated at all. But
so what is complicated?
So he was just saying it's too complicated. And that's all I heard. And I'm like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So we had a team, an auditing team. It was 3 people. So I was testing out the Excel sheet. And we were outside on the deck. And then there was a room to the side. So like I go outside, and the person there that was auditing... gave her the laptop, and it's like, okay, I want you to try it out.
Okay.
And then I went back in the other building and came back to go get my bottle of water.
Let me guess. It was broken?
It was broken.
Oh,
Within 2 minutes. Within 2 minutes, it was broken. And to this day, I still have no clue
how it worked.
How she did it. I don't know how she broke it. So luckily, I had a previous version saved, but there was some stuff I had to redo, and I just could not understand it.
Okay.
And before I went to go get
it's
that,
Murphy's Law, right?
Of course, of course. And when I was going to bring it out here, my buddy was just like, "All right, I guarantee you, she will break it."
Okay.
And he bet me a steak.
Oh, this is how you lost the steak?
That's how I lost the steak.
Where was it, in Carolinas?
Yeah, they're in Carolina.
They have good steaks too.
They do have good steaks.
Yeah.
But what I learned was like I didn't take the feedback of the guy, and he knew her very well. Knew her very well, and was very aware of her skill sets. And me, I just completely ignored what he said.
But I think it was not just because of her, right? It was just like it could be happen to everybody else, right?
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was purely my own arrogance.
Okay.
Because I never made mistakes.
I like that. Yeah.
I always make
Same
a perfect
here. Same here.
perfect product. But I did not take his input.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I did not watch her do it.
Oh, okay, okay. So you just trusted it will work, as you said, your own arrogance. It will. There is no chance to make a mistake there from
Yeah.
your point of view. Okay, got
Perfectly.
it.
So that's when I was sitting there and self-reflecting, and I was just like, what could I have done better?
Mm-hmm.
For this one, I was thinking, look, I should have asked a follow-up question to this guy. I was just like, what could I have, what do you mean it's not complicated? And when I asked him, when I talked to him later, he was just like, look, you need to make a button. He was like, what do you mean make a button? Because after it failed and broke,
Oh,
I was
okay.
like,
Instead of the cell, you just
cell.
make a
yeah, just make a big button. And then he's
Makes
like,
sense, yeah, yeah.
and then he told me it's just like, okay, and then completely
It
block
would
out.
help me, for example, as well.
Yeah. Most people
Maybe
it
I
does.
want the guy who can break this as well.
We'll try later. But yeah, and he's like, make a button and then completely lock out everything. And I was thinking to myself, why would I do that? Because I was giving it to the
Yeah,
department.
it was easy.
Yeah, it's an easy Excel sheet. If someone wants to change it or add
Yeah,
to
yeah.
it later, I didn't want to lock it out and someone doesn't have a password. But I realized when you're dealing with people, if something can break, as you said with Murphy's Law, it will break.
It will break, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but this all stemmed from not taking critical feedback. And really, when you are in a project, you really should listen to the people that you're talking to because they know what's going on. You have to really take what their input, set aside your own ego, and
Right.
really just take the feedback from them because they know the place. They know the place better than you do, and you will always have some type of outside perspective, which can be good in some regards, but you really need to take the feedback. So that was like my big lessons learned. I mean, some of the technical stuff of like how to block out cells, and add a button, and yada yada yada.
Yeah,
but
this is what you learn from every Excel sheet that you make. This is something you have an improvement. But I think the biggest or the main thing, as you said, is just listen to the people, right?
Exactly.
And we are again how to deal with people in different projects.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So yeah, and that's my biggest takeaway. So really, if you're doing a project, listen to the people, take what they say, put your ego to the side, and I promise you, it will be a lot easier and smoother sailings.
And I think the biggest challenge for me is exactly the thing with the ego.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. We don't want our screw-ups to become yours. Watch our next episode and see how emails, jet lag, and presentations are connected.